Don't forget to check out the Hockey Podcast Network's newest affiliate, NHLShop.com. That's right, the official NHL merchandise page. Right now, they're giving 20% off orders over $25 with code NHLICE25. Also, if you use our link that we're going to tweet out after this episode, you can help support us and the other hosts at the Hockey Podcast Network.
This is the Hockey Podcast Network, your home for hockey talk on every team in the NHL.
Welcome to Offside by a Mile, the podcast for anything and everything Colorado Avalanche, and the official Avs podcast for the Hockey Podcast Network. Well, everyone, it's another day of a self-isolating / quarantined, no hockey, Offside by a Mile podcast. Surprise, I'm sure you thought this would be different. Jared and Tyler in as usual.
Hello.
I guess somber note before we get into the rest of the podcast. Edmonton Oilers prospect / player. He's played NHL games for them. He's played NHL games for the Bruins. He passed away on Saturday morning from some sort of brain issue. I think it was a brain bleed or something, and he was put in a medically induced coma.
Mm-hmm.
But he passed away on Saturday morning, which is incredibly tragic for the hockey world, especially now.
Yeah, for sure.
Can't imagine what the family's feeling, but thoughts and prayers and all that good stuff for his family because, they need it right now.
Yep.
Saw some tweets and saw some other crazy crap about how, because of COVID and stuff, the family wasn't even allowed to go in the room and visit him while he was in the hospital. And it's just like...
talking to him over walkie-talkies.
Yeah, that's got to be... This is, again, we've said it a million times with COVID in general. Hockey and sports and everything is so far down the list of things that actually matter.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just crazy right now. And losing your son, losing your husband, losing your whatever has got to be insane.
Yeah.
It's got to be incredibly hard. Losing him in this fashion has got to be even worse. So, it's a terrible time in the hockey world and in the whole world right now. But again, thoughts and prayers to Colby Cave's family and his wife. It sucks.
Indeed, yeah.
But yeah, so that's not the best way to start a podcast. We did say that Spencer was going to be our guest this episode across the quarantine, but he had to bail. Again, hopefully everything's good with him, but we should have him on soon. Hopefully next week. You'll be
one of these weeks anyway.
One of these
coming
weeks
up.
he'll be on.
Yep.
We want him. We want to have him on again. He was fantastic last time, and I'm sure he's listening to this. So, Spencer,
love you, man.
Please be okay. But yeah, so things are pretty standard. We get into a lot of stuff with the boys from the Caps Trip podcast, who are actually our guests this week. So there's not a lot to talk about beforehand. The Avs are doing Avs things. There's some new activities, kind of like we talked last week with the Rocky Mountain Hospital for Children. There's some more kids stuff that they released, stuff like that. I think there was another live stream with the boys from Altitude. With Landeskog. I think it was on the Friday, on Friday, the 10th. So, I haven't watched that one yet, actually. I just noticed on the homepage that it's up. So, for your entertainment purposes, go listen and talk to Gabe.
Listen to your captain.
I'm sure he's got some stuff to say. Like we kind of talked about last week, there was the Facebook live stream with Landeskog and some other guys from the Central. Jamie Benn, as we get into a little bit later here. But yeah, so thanks for tuning into the episode, and we're going to jump into this week's Across the Rink, again presented by Manscaped.
Manscaped.
Manscaped. Yeah, so same kind of thing as last week. Again, we haven't got our package. I don't see us getting our package for a while. But the Lawnmower 3.0 is what they're selling. Their new product for you in the States. You can order right now. Supposedly the newest, fanciest, greatest ball trimmer around.
Yep.
But yeah, so like we kind of said last week, the THPN code is still active. 20% off any products you want to purchase from Manscaped, plus free shipping. That gives you options for their packages of products. If you want to just get a Lawnmower 3.0, even the 2.0, I think is still on there. It's all fine and dandy.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to try it still. I mean, whichever one of us gets the honors.
Also, check out the Cool Hockey promotion and everything that's going on. You can use THPN, I believe, as a checkout kind of thing for that. I think it gets you 20.
I think it was 20% off.
20% off, I think. So yeah.
Plus, you get entered into that 31 jersey
contest.
Which
I believe is ending very soon. So get your jersey in before that, and then you could win friggin' 30 other jerseys. So
hot damn.
It's a pretty damn good little contest there.
But yeah, so we'll jump into that Across the Quarantine right now. All right, this week's Across the Quarantine is with a guest that we did not intro last week. Like we promised, we said Spencer was going to be on. He had to pull the shoot, family stuff, I think. Corona-related garbage, it seems. Everything's up in the air as usual.
Pretty much.
But instead, we have the boys from the Caps Chirp podcast, from the Hockey Podcast Network. Hockey Troll has been on with us before, with Jared early in the season. Early
October.
And Polly Cupcakes, the newest co-host for the Caps Chirp podcast. How's it going, boys?
What's going on? And wait, did you say, are we your fucking backup?
I noticed that too.
You may be.
You're our ace up the sleeve.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Well,
pull out the big guns.
In that case, I'll just crack that right now if this is how it's gonna be.
I mean, that's fair. So the first thing I wanted to bring up, Jared and Troll made a wager.
Oh yeah.
In the last interview, I guess, between the two of you. Troll, you want to bring up the disappointment on your end?
Of course I fucking do. Because I have been fucking robbed. I've been robbed, and that was 20. I believe the wager was $20.
Yeah,
I believe it was.
Yeah, that was cheese, bud.
Isn't there more to it though?
What do you mean? No, well, okay. So the bet was that somehow fucking Rantanen, 70 games by Rantanen and Ovechkin were going to play 70 games. The minimum was they had to play 70 games this season.
Yeah.
And Jared, I don't know, you guys fucking cooked up this crazy plan, like wager that for some reason Rantanen somehow, by the grace of God, was going to score more goals than fucking Alexander Ovechkin, 8-time, soon to be 9-time Rocket Richard fucking winner. So I didn't even hesitate, and I took that for 20 bones, 20 American, by the way.
20
American dollars.
Yeah.
I obviously Rantanen takes a dive like fucking 10 games after that,
something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't too much longer.
Yeah, and completely harpoons the fucking bet, and I, as we talked in the pre-show here, I'm fucking unemployed. That's $20 that I could have
you could have used for one of those things you cracked in the background.
Could have possibly been right around now too.
Yeah, you could have used it right now.
Would have been wiring her over right now.
Amazing. Yeah, I think we got lucky there for sure.
It's funny because, of course, I was thinking about this too, like all morning, and I was kind of thinking like Rantanen got going too, right? Like he was before he got injured for the second time. This is fucking bullshit, man. We had so much garbage injuries this year, but Like, he was
No
really
doubt.
starting to go, and I think if he had a full season, it could have been close. Like, I think he would have had more than 40.
Yeah, like
I do.
I can't even you can't even use the points per or the goals per game argument right now because of how slow he started. Well, sorry, he started really well. Like with the first couple of games back from his knee injury, he was good.
Right.
Then he slowed down real bad, and then it got going. Like Jared said, I think he scored in 3 straight games where he got hurt or something like that.
Yeah, he was starting to be the
But
Mikko.
19 goals in 42 games is not quite the goals per game that Ovechkin seems to rock yearly.
Yeah, I mean, he's already at 48, right? He was at 48 here. Like,
Yep. 48, 706 all time, right, Paulie?
Yeah, 706. Basically, he's one game away from 50.
One game.
Man,
As long as he has like an average night, to be honest, like, and it's really like nothing or a hat trick for Ovi, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
that seems to kind of be the way he goes. But yeah, I mean, this break has got to be heartbreaking for that too, because like there could have been like 3 players at least out of top 50
plus.
goal this year, right?
I
Maybe
had
even a 60 in there.
So everybody knows I'm a huge Leafs fan that listens to us. I have a bet with a guy at work that very similar to the Rantanen bet, not more than somebody, but I had it as if Matthews played a full season, I said 80 plus, he was going to hit 50. I'm super rattled that he has just got to the fringe of 50 and hasn't got his 80 games. I'm pretty rattled about that too.
Right.
Now, kind of with the Ovechkin scoring thing, we got to bring it up because, you know, it seems like, at least in Canada, everybody talks about Ovechkin and Gretzky.
Sure.
Conspiracy theories have mounted. Are you guys of the belief that Wayne Gretzky is pulling the strings with COVID and making sure that Ovechkin doesn't break his record?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh,
I knew it. I knew you would be.
One, Paulie, right? Like the great one, he always seems so classy in the public eye, very polished dude. But I mean, there was that gambling ring. I mean, he's into subversive shit.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, he's into some shit. I don't know. I mean, whether it's like sadomasochism or anything crazy like that, I'm not going to take a leap of faith here, but he clearly released COVID-19 so that Ovi wouldn't just continue to climb. I thought Ovi was going to score 60. I mean,
Man,
Paulie, what did
Ovechkin is just a superhuman. That's like
at 34.
I honestly, I was expecting, based on what he was doing at the time the season ended, I thought 65.
Jesus.
Oh, not 65. I'm sorry, 55.
Okay.
I was like, holy shit.
55 was probably realistic, and that would have got him close. I'm not looking at the numbers right now, but he would have been close to the next step up on the all-times goal list. I think it's funny, the conspiracy theory that Wayne Gretzky is behind this.
Wayne Gretzky is
confirmed.
He's shaking hands. He's kissing babies. He's just not staying 6 feet apart from people. He's not social distancing. He's going to the grocery store. He's just making sure this gets nice and solidified in the pandemic stage where it just ends the season. Maybe, half of next season just really gets in there,
Well, I think I know Wayne's a big deal in Canada. He's a big deal in North America, but mostly in Canada.
Definitely.
And, I'd put him to like a Joe Montana in football, but I wouldn't even give Joe Montana the amount of pull to put off of COVID-19. So as much as I think Wayne Gretzky is an important human being to human civilization, I think this is I can't buy into it. I can't buy into this conspiracy.
Many conspiracy theories feel that way. Like, the Earth being flat or the fact that there is no sun.
Wait, isn't the Earth flat though? Right?
Where it's not flat. We're just on like a turtle or whatever. I don't know what that would call it.
Turtle.
Yeah,
Earth
right.
is a turtle.
Solar system isn't real, but we just happen to be on a curvature Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking cosmic turtle.
The
Yes.
cosmic turtle. And then have you guys heard the one about like the sun not being real?
That's
No, what the
fucking
fuck is-
ridiculous. Tell me about that.
Somebody brought this up to me at work and I was like, are you fucked? It's basically
Where the
like
fuck do you work? Like, what the fuck?
I work in a
fuck-
place where we just talk about too much shit, really. Yeah, so there was like this belief, apparently on the interwebs somewhere, that
Okay.
the sun burnt out and someone like NASA or something has put a fake sun into space, and that is what's heating the Earth.
If we had that kind of money, we'd be fucking living on Neptune by now.
So that one's insane to me. That one.
I was gonna say, if you could recreate the fucking sun, I mean, you are definitely like, you have to have more money than God, right?
Right?
I mean,
We'd at least have like clones and AI by
Yeah,
now.
for sure.
Like fucking iRobot going on.
That's what they want you to think.
Right?
That's why we don't have them.
yeah, they're keeping the sheep ignorant,
Yeah.
right? To control us.
Maybe we do have AI. Maybe that's all the idiots you see. You know. Maybe they're AI.
Yeah. Functioning robots.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, into
Fuck, we're off the fucking rails, boys.
yeah, that's what you got.
Offside.
Yeah, well, it's COVID-19 episodes. You have to be off the rails by now. It's been what, a month since hockey? 5
Yeah.
weeks.
This is where our conversations go these days.
Yeah. You guys didn't even ask the question like our last 3 guests have asked. And they normally involve, what are we going to talk about? And I say, I don't know, anything.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like me and Paulie here are pretty good at rolling with the punches. So
Yeah.
I actually make it a point not to ask because I
see,
want to
there you
be
go.
like surprised, like on the pod. And
Plus, we drink enough that like we're gonna
That's
figure
true.
it out.
Fair.
You guys
Right,
don't know
yeah.
what's going to come out of your
Also-
mouth either, right?
Right? Like I logged on and I was already fucking hammered. So
For those wondering, it's like 4:40 in the afternoon for you guys.
That's
Exactly.
5 o'clock somewhere.
it's
Good.
4:41.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
a
There you
bit
go.
of a late start for us.
That's true. Yeah, you know, it honestly, you're quarantined at home. It doesn't matter
hell else are we
when
gonna
you
do?
start.
Exactly.
You guys don't have
Yeah.
kids, right?
You're gonna fucking judge me.
Jim?
I do. I
Oh.
don't. Jesus.
I do.
I don't. But
I mean, I
Hockey
know.
Troll does.
All right.
Wait, what? What was the question?
Do you have kids?
Yeah, I do. I have one, a daughter, but she's with her mom today, so
Lucky you.
getting litty.
So that's probably why you're a little later in the day than normal, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. If you had her, you probably would have been 10 o'clock in the morning, just some Baileys and coffee, right?
right,
Maybe
right.
Irish whiskey.
Yeah, well, not Bailey's. I mean, we'll go with the hard stuff, straight
Yeah.
bourbon.
Oh, there you go.
know.
Perfect.
You gotta wake up.
There's no
like it.
warm up for Troll. He just fucking goes.
Right. I'm on or off, babe.
So I think it was brought up. You guys are fairly decent Avs fans from previous lives.
Absolutely.
So-
I mean, I got Patrick Waugh's poster up in my fucking studio. And who could forget, the early 2000s and into the 90s, those Detroit Red Wings and Avalanche series.
Man,
That shit I grew up on, man.
Hell yeah.
some of the best hockey
Yeah.
out there.
I'm a big Avs fan. Like I was telling you guys pre-interview. I grew up near Pittsburgh. And so just because our local minor league team is an affiliate, it kind of just was like a natural. I mean, this is honestly like pre 7 years old. So it was just like, yeah, I'm a Penguins fan, but I didn't really follow. But as I got old enough to follow, that was about the time the Avs won the cup. And I think it was 9 years old, the 01 Cup. And, with Forsberg, Foote, Sakic, Hayduk, I mean, those guys, it was just hard not to fall in love. And I got a nice there's no name on it. It's just the maroon. I think it's about the time they won the cup, the maroon home jersey, or well, I don't know if it was home or away.
I think
Depend-
Ben.
yeah, the maroon jersey. And a couple years ago, my buddy got me a Sakic white jersey. So
Nice.
every time the Avalanche are in Pittsburgh, my wife and I go.
Nice.
Sick.
And so I'm a huge Avalanche fan. I went to Washington. I think it was 2014, and I was there to see Ovi plus the Avalanche. So I got to see Nathan McKinnon's first career professional goal.
Sick.
Yeah. So I was pretty pumped about that. I love these guys. And I'm glad that they've started winning more because living in West Virginia, it's hard to see them on national TV. So
Yeah.
True.
their recent success has been very, very beneficial for an East Coast fan.
Right.
fair.
I guess, yeah, they got quite a few games on like the NBC, like Wednesday night rivalries and stuff like that.
Sundays and stuff. Yeah, they got a
Yeah.
lot. They got a lot more
Yeah,
national
because,
games
I
this year,
mean,
it seems.
All the way back to our first interview, I was calling for a Caps Avs Stanley Cup final.
Hell yeah,
And,
dude.
I think that would be, what a fucking series.
I think
that would
I'm
be.
still on that bandwagon.
Yeah,
me too.
the NBC Sports crew before Roenick got let go, rest in peace.
Rip.
I think they had 3 people pick. It was Roenick and 2 other people. I can't remember who exactly it was. Might have been Anson Carter, sorry, and somebody else. But I know there was someone who picked the Avalanche against someone else, and someone who picked the Caps against someone else, and then someone picked the Avs and Caps. So they
It was
were
probably-
they were all picked in like at least in one of the 3 situations. So I think coming in, everybody knew that each team was like something to deal with.
Oh yeah, man, it's crazy. Yeah, it's so we've talked about this for weeks. I think I'm sure you guys have too. And I wanted this is probably the first time we've had a guest on since Rona that are in the same boat as kind of the Avs, where legitimate cup contenders that may lose their shot entirely. Like obviously we're choked about it. Like just straight up losing the chance is potential. Like, and it's to me it's pretty much on the table. Like it's pretty much the only option at this point, in my opinion, is that this cup's just not coming.
Well, okay, so I am a firm believer that Gary Bettman will find some way, shape, or form to award a Stanley Cup at the end of this season.
I hope so.
Some fucking how he's gonna do it, and the reason that is because, this is like the worst fucking timing for the league, right? Because the TV deal is coming in. The NHL is about to be like a legitimate contender for a true major league sport in North America, right?
Not just
like,
the fourth, lowly top 4
right.
sport.
Yeah, because it always seems like, football, baseball, basketball is like on this top 3. And even though the NHL is a major league, they're like, I don't know, like one sub level down.
Yeah, everybody always says the major 4 sports, but you always know that the 4th sport is NHL. Every time.
Right. There's always a fucking asterisk behind that.
It's always the NHL. It's never like, they're fighting with the NBA right now. No, not even close.
Right. But this deal was really going to be a stepping stone for the NHL to position themselves in a business manner to really contend with the other 3 sports. You look at youth numbers across the other sports and they're down, man. But like hockey's kind of standing up there, especially with minorities and girls, from what I understand. I'm not don't quote me on that, but I've heard that as far as the youth programs go, they're thriving. So I don't think that there's a scenario that Gary Bettman has considered yet where he's not going to award the cup. Now, be some fucked up, abomination of the rest of the season / playoffs that he comes up with and agrees to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, that probably will happen. But, the cup hasn't been awarded only twice in all of NHL history.
Yeah.
I don't think that Gary Bettman wants to be the commissioner that does it a 3rd time. He does not want this hat trick of not awarding.
He's okay with the hat trick of lockouts, but not so much the awarding of the cup.
Yeah, and I mean 2-1. It would be 2 under his control, I think.
Yeah, I think it's 2. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah,
because the first one was when he locked out in 2005. So I think that, and I really do believe that Gary Bettman wants to award a championship, because what is your league if not for crowning a, like, what's the fucking point?
Oh, 100%. I agree 100%. Plus, like, we've brought up the fact that, like, if you straight up just don't have a cup, then you have to answer to all these teams that spent assets on rental players at the deadline, right? And I feel like that alone, like, obviously the economic reasons and the legitimately having a champion, those are real reasons with pretty clear answers and pretty clear you're shit out of luck kind of answers, right, from the league. But when it comes to
Right.
like how you relocate assets from these teams that made deadline deals for rental players for cup runs, I think that question is way harder to answer.
No doubt there, man. And I'm not even going to try because I don't know. I mean, do you extend it to another year? So basically like next year is part of this deal.
Yeah. But then that player's like, I wanted to sign a Luke, like Taylor Hall's gonna be like,
I was out of here, man.
I wanted to sign an 8-year contract, man.
Or yeah.
Well, you know, Bob Huggins, he's the basketball coach for WVU. He's the NCAA D1 coach there. And he suggested playing the NCAA tournament before the season starts in the fall. So, I mean, the NHL could always just finish the Stanley Cup in August or September.
Yeah, which is what sounds like it's going to happen. But the problem I see with the whole thing, the U.S. has 530,000 cases of COVID right now.
Oh, fuck. Here we go with the Canadian prejudice.
Well, no. It's not even that. It's not even that. The leagues got shut down when the U.S. had 20,000 cases?
Yeah.
Right? Like, you're telling me that the league's going to come back anytime before the numbers are down to even 100 grand? Like, that is so far away.
April's supposed to be the big peak, though.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So I mean, I guess in May we'll know for sure if we've got it under control or not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We talked about Joe Rogan previously, right? And on his show, he had this fucking guy who was like some diseased dude, right? I mean, the description of any Joe Rogan show, right? That dude.
That's really smart.
Yeah, right.
MMA or smart guy.
Yeah, basically.
Right. And he said that and now I've been drinking. Okay, so, but I thought he had said 80,000 deaths in the United States alone.
Yeah, which you're creeping up there.
Yeah, I feel like so
that's intense.
Yeah, and what we pitched on our pod, and I think that the NHL is kind of going towards that is so think about if the playoffs started today or whatever, there are going to be teams that are not in it, right? And they're going to be small market teams. Okay. Use those arenas in the small markets to get a bunch of games done in a very short time.
For sure. Right? I think it was this week or was it last week where the North Dakota stuff came out?
Yeah, I think it was last week or whatever.
Right.
And
Go ahead.
Is I mean, whatever, things like that though.
And
sure. I know that, and it depends on how much money you're going to lose by just saying, okay, you're going to play without a crowd, because the NHL's revenue is almost entirely based on ticket sales.
Yeah, for sure. And you're not going to be able to strike a deal with a TV company now.
Yeah,
that changes that.
Weird.
Right? Yeah, I can't imagine there's hey, we're going to run all of our games with no fans, so you're going to jack up cable rates and all this stuff. That's not going to happen.
Right. Or
even though those ratings are going to be insane.
Right. And I mean, does a cable company really want to be involved in a risky situation where, they play this playoff and then half the fucking players die or get the virus or some, I'm sure there's a ton of things to think about here, but
for sure.
I was thinking go to more low population places where there are smaller markets to play logistics, because I feel like a lot of people in the beginning were hung up on, well, how does this even happen with the amount of rinks that can support 20,000 people and blah, 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 blah. Logistics wise though, I feel like the NHL should tap their resources, tap their owners. And because, so for instance, Madison Square Garden, right? If the Rangers were to make the playoffs, Madison Square Garden, if the Rangers are playing, a whole shitload of other shows, acts, and basketball and other things are going to be taking up that time,
for
right?
Sure.
And the NHL is going to be at the bottom of that shit pile, right?
Yeah.
So now the Rangers are going to play a home game out in fucking in Zona or North Dakota, or you know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just to play them. You get what I'm saying though?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I don't know. I mean,
The other
It's
thing,
spec-
the other
100% speculation.
the other option they have, well, option, I don't know if you want to call it an option, but like the other consideration you have is the fact that if you're not going to have fans, it doesn't matter what size the building is, right?
Exactly
There's
right.
tons of rinks in the U.S., Canada that are 1,000 seaters, or 1,000 to 5,000 seaters. Like there's tons.
Right. I
Fuck,
mean,
what
the
rink are you guys
MLB.
playing at? I don't think I've ever played in a 1,000-seater rink, Paulie?
Oh, you have. You have. We
I've-
played in Erie.
Oh, yeah, that's true. And
Yeah.
Yale,
Yeah.
the Whale. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. But I mean, you
I've
know,
played the million games that I've played.
Major League Baseball right now, they're thinking about a plan where they just play at spring training facilities with no fans, and they'll keep the players in the stands 6 feet apart, not in the dugouts. I mean, what if
That would be
what if the NHL just played at like your local fucking rinky-dink rink?
As long as it's NHL size ice.
Exactly. As long as it's 200 feet, and they put it on national TV, people are going to watch, and they could finish, just make sure no one plays like a back-to-back. They could finish the regular season, and then they could move into the playoffs, and yeah, no one's going to be there, but at least they can finish a season. It'll be legitimate, and then someone can like feel like that they're the true Stanley Cup champions, and then the season is saved.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the hardest thing, is to just, find that and keep that integrity in place. Like everybody's going to have their own theories of how the hell you do that. Like, especially with all the different number of games that have been played already. And it's like, so are we going to finish the regular season and go in like we should? Or is it going to be some kind of, point percentage bullshit or whatever? It's just it's so tough. Like, I don't envy the people in this position, like the business side and the scheduling side. It's like, how do you even do it?
100%.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's either you finish the regular season or you stop the regular season. Like, I don't think there's any in between. Like, you have to, or just make sure everybody gets, I think the highest number is 72. So everybody plays 72 games and then you stop. Like, you can't.
Could you imagine that though? Like having a couple teams come back for a couple more games, and then all of a sudden you go into the playoffs, and now they're less rusty, quote unquote, compared to like a team that was at 71 or 72 games, and I don't know.
It's a good point,
right?
So check this. I was saying you do a 2-week regular season. The first week, everybody in small, the team gets together. And it's it's house league again, right? It's the coach, some trainers, and the fucking team. You get like a week to practice, get the rust out, do whatever. The next week you play a 5-game schedule, or because the spread right now is about 5 games, right? You have, I think the lowest amount is either 68 or 69, and the highest is 72. So in that 1 week you run a gauntlet, and it is 2 back-to-backs, a back-to-back, a day of rest, a back-to-back, and then a weekend game. And then after that, and obviously the teams that aren't going to play a lot, they only play like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Then this is where the rink logistics come in, where you're playing in small markets, right? That I talked about. And then you just roll right into playoffs and work logistics there and play the full playoff tournament. So really, basically, the max amount of games everybody plays is 77. That's 5 off from the rest of the season. I don't know. I mean, this is obviously just me like drunkenly musing over this shit. Right?
That's all we can do.
Everybody else is spitballing too, so you might as well try.
Exactly.
Exactly. But
no idea is a bad
play the
idea.
full tournament.
That's it.
Right? You play a full tournament. I don't know. Maybe we strike a deal with the KHL and play in Siberia. Nothing lives up there, including
right. You'd
That's
think.
true.
You never know. They'll probably just punch it in the face.
We're rolling into Antarctic winter, so just put a fucking ODR down in Antarctica.
Right.
Fucking finish the season. Nobody gets sick.
Hey man,
we just got like 20 guys from each team and a couple of trainers and a coach.
The NHL loves outdoor games.
Yeah.
The NHL loves outdoor games. Let's just play friggin' like 100 of them.
The
Yeah,
Stanley
put
Cup
it-
playoff
We're in
winter
Ar-
classic.
Antarctica. Boom. We've hit
Imagine
another
the
continent.
fucking snowstorms they have in there.
Yeah.
Like,
Fine.
we've had 3 players go down due to getting icicles stabbed through their fucking face.
You know, they already fucking love the penguins, so there you go. There's natural penguins. There you go.
There you go.
There it is. Holy fuck, Paulie.
Send
I think
them
I'm
back.
rubbing off on you.
Send them back to
Yeah,
their
right?
family.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for me, it's just like the thing I want the most is like a full playoff, normal, regular Stanley Cup playoffs.
Best of 7s.
Right.
Yeah. And like,
7
I
series.
feel like that's however they are going to decide which teams get in and everything, I think is just kind of the case of it's an unfair year. Like, there's nothing
Sure.
we can do about it. I feel like if you're a team that's just on the outside and maybe you're 0.1% of the point percentage out of the playoffs, it's just kind of like, I don't know what the fuck we can do for you. Like,
You should have played
Right.
better in your 70 games.
Yeah,
It's not my
right.
fault.
You know what? I can tell you this
That's the
though,
big thing.
as a
Right.
self-proclaimed Caps and Avalanche fan, I would love to finish the regular season for Ovi's goal count, but then also I wouldn't. It's my thought is finish the regular season and then have an abbreviated playoff because the Avalanche would still be in. So Ovi can keep chasing the goal count and then just skip to the conference finals. Just have the top 2 teams.
Right.
And even as someone who isn't in the same fanhood as me, may be able to agree with me because at least each team would get to finish their scheduled amount of games, and then everyone gets a chance to go to the games they've paid tickets for, because no one has technically paid for the playoffs, right? You know, I mean, like no fans have actually have a scheduled playoff game.
Fair.
But all the regular season games have been scheduled. So if each regular season game gets finished and you abbreviate the playoffs, there's still a battle for the Stanley Cup and the fans don't get shorted.
Except,
That's a good point.
Except you get shorted out of Edmonton, Calgary in the first round. You get shorted out of Avs, Dallas in the first round. You get shorted out of
Philly,
the Penguins and
Pittsburgh.
Well,
Philly.
I'll tell you what, as you're an Avs fan, though, do you really want to play Dallas?
No, absolutely not. But as a fan,
It's
like
kind of scary.
as a fan though, that first round of the playoffs is always the best round.
Yeah, you get
Right, and I
8
guess
matchups.
I guess the more I talk about it, the way
Selfishly,
the setup would be, it'd be each division winner, right? And so the Avs wouldn't make it. But
well, if that again, this is where you get crazy and you get weird, and
Right.
with your theory or your thought is play out the season, so you wouldn't have this points percentage. But as of right now, points percentage, the Avs are ahead of the Blues, I believe.
yeah. So I mean,
So it's just
there's a whole lot of situations, but I think the most fan friendly is to finish the regular season because people are counting on those 82.
I agree with that thought, kind of. Aside from the fact that you think, like I brought this up last week, you think back to the lockout shortened season, 2012 or whatever it was, 48 game season.
Yeah.
That playoff year, or like the playoffs, they came so fast, and it was so fantastic. I didn't give a shit about the 48 games before it. I do not care ever.
That's a good. That's.
I don't care about the 82 games. I want to get to the playoffs because that's the best hockey every year.
True.
Well,
Yeah,
I,
and-
I care about the 8. So going back to Ovechkin and him inevitably beating Gretzky in the goal race here. You look at this guy's career and how deadly efficient and how and he does this every time. I mean, maybe Ovechkin is not only with the best goal scorer in the league, but he's also like a compass that points towards national disasters or the league's health, because when he's going to score 60 fucking goals, the regular season gets fucking shorted. I mean, he scored 35 goals in that half season.
It's true.
He was on pace for like 60 at least. This year, possible 60 was not out of the realm of possibilities, especially because the Caps had to play the Penguins one more time because Paulie had tickets. Sorry about your luck.
yeah,
and then-
I was
That's why he
fucking
wants
going
Yeah.
to
to
Pittsburgh.
games.
I'm
He didn't
supposed to
say He didn't
Yeah.
say that. He didn't say he was the guy with tickets.
I was supposed to be in Pittsburgh March 21st. Me, my wife, my brother-in-law, and whoever else he decided to bring.
I see.
We were supposed to be fucking in like 105. We were supposed to be there, man.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I see.
I mean,
there's always a second layer to the story.
Yeah. and you're looking at Ovechkin, who could have scored 60, which would have been his best season, second best season ever. And on top of that, one of his best even strength goal seasons, which is just a mind-blowing fucking stat for me.
100%.
That he is, all the detractors are like, well, he just sits there on the left circle. And it's like, first of all, people who say that don't understand how hard it is to take a fucking one-timer when John Carlson or Mike Green is firing the puck at you at a solid 45, 45 miles an hour. That puck's coming at you, and you have the fucking audacity to just rip it bar down, on a one-timer
Over
like that's
and
ridiculous.
over again.
Yeah, I mean, I throw a pass that's even like 13 miles an hour at a poly, and he falls trying to take it.
That's what I was gonna say. Like I'm 50-50 on a one-timer from Troll. Like, imagine the skill it takes to score 706 goals in the NHL on that shit.
It's a lot of practice.
Right.
Insane.
And so not only practice, just like natural freak ability, right? And that is the reason that I think that Ovechkin's gonna break Gretzky's record, because he's deadly consistent. I mean, if you look at his numbers from his rookie year to his numbers now, they're about the fucking same.
Yeah. Well, and then on top of that, right, everybody kind of says like, you got to pace Ovechkin at X number of goals, and then he can just sit there on the power play for 20 until he gets the record, basically. And like you just said, in a season after he won the cup and partied like it was going out of style, all this crap.
Yeah, broke the Stanley Cup.
Just Alex Ovechkin. That's all you have to know with the cup. That's
right.
Period, end of story. And then now, like you said, probably his best ever even strength goal total ever.
Yeah, which is insane. I mean, that's crazy.
34 years old.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
what?
and what, over a decade in the league. I mean, it's crazy. Actually, it's funny. Me and Nick Berlansky yesterday just did a OVV Crosby podcast on Patreon. So you guys should definitely check that out.
Definitely.
I absolutely drug him everywhere, use him as a rag doll. No, just kidding. But, because I hate Crosby. I hate the style he plays. I hate a lot of things about the guy, but you have to give up. I mean, you have to give respect to the talent there, right? I get that. I just think that Ovechkin 50 years from now, he will be the all-time leading goal scorer in the NHL, and you just can't refute that legendary status. Whereas Crosby,
there are plenty of guys.
Anything.
There are plenty of guys like Crosby, but there are very few like Ovechkin, and I think that's the point that Troll's trying to get across.
Right.
I think you can educationally and equivocally compare Crosby to Joe Sakic, to Messier, to guys like that.
Yzerman, kind of.
Yzerman, exactly. Those guys come around every 10 years. Gretzky, Lemieux, and Ovechkin are three out of 150. I think that's the difference. I love Joe Sakic, but he's in the Crosby category. Joe Sakic was elite. He was amazing. But he's in that same category. Ovechkin is one of those amazing talents that you just don't see very often.
I can kind of see your point on that, and like how he's just so much more of a unique player. Like you don't see, there's no one in the league that is like Ovechkin. You're kind of right about that. That can put the puck behind the goalie just seamlessly every year, and plus he's a damn animal. He's a freaking animal out there. When that guy gets riled up, it's like, watch the fuck out.
Yeah, he's that guy that if he can hone in on you within a 10 feet radius, you're fucking dead. Like, you're going to die.
You piss Alex Ovechkin off, you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, and the thing is, I know you, and which is cool, because some of the hosts on the Hockey Podcast Network, they're all fucking great, but a lot of them haven't played hockey, and I know that you guys have played hockey, right?
Yeah.
And you can relate to like, okay, but like just try to catch like a muffin toss to you, like slide on the ice and one time it. Like
I'm a goalie. I couldn't imagine standing in front of something like Ovechkin.
Scary
Right?
stuff. You know, Merkel used to, or Troll used to say, if Alex Ovechkin was alive like 1,000 years ago, we would just be throwing gold coins and women at him.
Right. Drink just so he didn't fucking kill us.
Exactly. He's like Genghis fucking Khan, dude. That's what Alex Ovechkin is.
He's like the secret weapon that you just pull. He's like Achilles, man.
Exactly.
He's
He's like Brad Pitt and Troy.
We got Ovechkin, man. Why are we even worried? Just fucking go, Alex. He's just like, ah.
Exactly.
Runs at him. Yeah, I can
just
see
fucking kill some dudes and bang your women, right? I mean, that's
let him
Ovi.
do what he wants.
Yeah.
Okay, last question before we run here.
Okay.
John Carlson is a beast this
Another
year.
He is. And,
Yeah, just run with that. Just run with it.
You go ahead, Troll.
Okay, so JC is the man, right? And I should be probably gassing him up so hard right now, but his defensive play has not been great this season.
Well, yeah, this is the Washington Capitals we're talking about.
Right. And okay, nice little low blow there. Thanks. But look, I mean, Carly for the first 7-8 years of his career was slated as a puck moving yet shut down defenseman. Good on the body, a physical presence, a guy who could match up against the number one on the other team, but also get the puck and distribute it. Now, obviously, when the spotlight's on you like that, you're going to have fuck ups and people are going to, shit the bed on it. But, I think that I didn't expect this. I knew that he was a finalist in Norris voting for a while now, a couple years, but I didn't think he was going to come out and, halfway through the season, we were like, fuck, he could be on the 100-point trajectory here.
Dude, he was insane for the first 6 weeks of the season.
And topping everybody.
Yeah, at one point his pace looked like he wasn't only just defensive player of the year, he was possibly MVP.
Yeah, not even a question.
Exactly. Yeah. It was like January. He looked like he could contend with anyone else.
Draisaitl and McDavid were going off, and he was still ahead of them.
Exactly.
Right. And he was doing shit that I'd never seen him do. Crazy goal line fucking hands plays, juking the goalie out of his skates and out of his jock and then just slipping it in behind him. Crazy stuff. I mean, he had a hell of a game against LA early in the season. And, I think that the team really kind of stumbled after all their great success at the beginning of the season, in true Caps fashion, because they're so fucking talented. They know it. They stopped trying, or
they also really love the regular season.
Right. But this was special. This year for the Caps was really, one for the history books for them. But then they came back down to earth after the All-Star break. I don't know, probably too much partying during that time or whatever. So into the All-Star break, they kind of started to come back down to earth. And after the All-Star break, it was just kind of a shit show. And I guess as far as the team goes, this pause probably wasn't a terrible thing for him. Though I did have them coming back up and going on a run the last 10 games because of the strength of schedule. But after we beat the Penguins and then fucking shit the bed for 3 straight games, or for a couple of games after that, I was like, maybe the Penguins are the only team we can beat anymore. So
their Metro matchups this year were pretty bad. It was actually pretty embarrassing to see the Capitals dominate the way they did and then not be able to win against their own division. I mean, it was
toss up a muffin against the Devils. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, the Avs
So-
doing that against the Kings all year. Yep. Yeah, I know the feeling.
And the Stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
The Ben Bishop led Stars that just do nothing but stop the puck. Oh my god.
Don't get me too started, but I fucking hate Jamie Benn.
Interesting.
I think he's a fucking psychopath, dude.
We got to get you started now. What the hell's what?
Oh my god, dude! I see some of the clips of
Go
Jamie Benn, and like whether I'm watching the Avs or I watch Jamie Benn on other shit, Jamie Benn is a psychopath, dude. I think it was maybe it was against Calgary, and just like first of all, I hate stick play. Like
Okay.
I can't stand when guys use their stick as a weapon. I can't stand that. Like, get the fuck out of here. Hockey is about punching. Don't use your stick.
I agree. Yeah.
And Jamie Benn just loses his shit, and it's like, dude, be an adult. And
Be a man.
in addition, yeah, exactly. And Jamie Benn, in addition to the Stars dominating the Avalanche, it gets very frustrating. But man, I think he's a psychopath. Like, honestly, like if Jamie Benn had another calling in life aside from hockey player, it would probably be like the Joker's henchman.
I've just never heard someone with that strong of an opinion against Jamie Benn. Now, I'm not saying you're wrong. I agree with your points. Jamie Benn reminds me of one of our friends that we played hockey with that is
I don't know what you're
loose
talking about.
cannon, put it that way.
Fucking head case.
That's what troll is, man.
may or may not have brought his parents to a beer league game and then hucked another guy's stick into the crowd, like other teams' players' stick into the crowd.
Trying to fight refs and
He tried to fight a ref. He got into a fight-ish kind of thing and got jumped while he came out of the box and then threw the guy's helmet against the back wall of the arena and smashed it into pieces. Yeah, Jamie Benn and
that's
said
Jamie
friend.
Benn right there.
Yeah, I've never had that strong of an opinion against Jamie Benn.
And it's funny,
Yeah,
like
maybe that's why.
our friend Jamie Benn, when he's not on the ice, he seems like a pretty cool guy.
Pretty normal dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a pretty normal guy. He's just chilling out. Relaxing. I've watched
I
the
can tell
central interview with him. Like, oh yeah, Jamie Benn, what's up, dude? Then you see him on the ice, you're like, holy shit,
Whoa.
dude, chill.
I can tell you, all the way from West Virginia, United States, thousands of miles away from Dallas, Texas, Jamie Benn is a fucking psychopath.
Amazing.
Nice, I like it.
Well, it's a nice little thought to end this, I think. That was a blast, boys.
Yeah, that's fun.
Thanks for having us.
If you guys could,
Yeah, no doubt.
migrate into like the Central Division or something, so we could talk more often, that'd be cool.
Well, fuck.
You know-
I mean, we can still talk, babe. I mean,
Maybe
We don't-
once
don't need-
Seattle becomes a team, they'll
Yeah,
just
there
move
you
the Caps to the Central.
Yeah,
huh?
there you go. It'll be kind of like the Red Wings of old, where they just were in the East but played in the West because it was fun.
Right?
Right.
Yeah. the NHL really need to work on their whole like geographic situation.
They're not. I think the department that leads that is just not very bright.
Yeah, I think they just fucking smoke like fucking opium all day because
Yeah.
they have no idea what's going on.
Seems about right.
Darcy the board, dude. And I mean, So I mean, thanks a lot for having us on. Obviously, always a good time, And actually, it was funny because Jared, that was like my first interview.
Yeah,
Off-
mine too. Yeah,
Yeah. So we deflowered each other, as you said.
Oh, Jesus.
yeah.
That's you. That's a quote directly from Jared.
That's
there.
true. It was from Jared.
We'll forever have that bond.
We
Well, I
will.
remember I was at my previous job. I was a delivery driver for a local office supply company, and I wasn't on the podcast yet. And Troll was like, "Dude, you're an Avs fan, you're a Caps fan. You gotta check this interview out." And I really enjoyed listening to you guys.
Hell yeah.
Well, thanks,
I
man.
think it was back in October,
Yeah.
and I joined in December. So yeah, man, I really appreciate getting to talk to you guys. I've never even been to Colorado. The only thing I have from Colorado is a koozie that my brother bought me when he went to Red Rocks. He bought me an Avalanche koozie.
Nice.
But I was really excited to talk Avs with you guys because I live a long way away, and there aren't a whole lot of fans out here. So I really appreciate getting to talk to you guys.
Yeah, man. It was
Hell
a
yeah.
blast. Again, it's Hockey Troll and Polly Cupcakes from the Caps Chirp podcast. You can check them out at those names on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
At Hockey Trolling and at Cupcake Polly.
Oh, yeah, right. Hockey Trolling. I'm sure you can find him on Hockey Troll, but
Yeah.
he's a pretty funny Twitter handle to follow, that's for sure. You guys both have some pretty good content. Big fan.
Oh, yeah. We like to keep it interesting.
Absolutely.
Also, soon, like Troll was mentioning before we started recording, he's going to be showing his face soon, I believe.
No, he did.
dude.
He
You did?
So
Oh.
I already
Face
did.
reveal.
Yeah.
Oh. Well,
I hit funny story. The new podcast that we have on the Hockey Podcast Network, the House of Hockey podcast. The Ray, the one of the hosts there, she's on Instagram, and I was chirping her about because she's learning to play hockey in her studio apartment during the COVID-19 outbreak, and they're in LA, and I was just like, just saying, yeah, you need a virtual coach or whatever, just jokingly. And she's like, yeah, and that should be you. And I was like, oh, fuck, what'd I do?
oh, God. Way
Yeah.
to go.
So if you follow her, the hockey lady on Instagram, I'm on it. And I think it's going to be a reoccurring thing. So I showed her a little stick handling. I showed her the young blood like puck and then turn it over. You know what I mean? Like the lacrosse style move.
I can't even do that.
Off.
Oh.
Bro, she pulled it off.
Well, there you go. If you need to learn how to play hockey, maybe Hockey Troll can help you out with that, because I certainly need to learn how to do that.
Yeah, so tune into that, and I think I'm going to show her how to shoot a puck next time we do it.
Listen, Hockey Troll coached 1 year of lacrosse in West Virginia, and he won Coach of the Year. So this kid, this guy knows how to coach.
Wow, his head grew 3 sizes.
It did, and I try to avoid that, but I got to give him some props. This Hockey Troll can coach.
Yeah, boy.
Wow.
Watch
out. See, the Hockey Podcast Network employs all kinds of people, including coaches of the year.
Yeah, it's
highly decorated.
Damn.
Highly decorated. I mean, that's a state highly coveted award. So, I'm not saying I'm a big deal, but I'm a fucking big deal.
A little bit, right? A little bit.
And boys, something that like I've like fucking wet dreams about though is getting like all of the hosts of the Hockey Podcast Network together for like a certain amount of time or whatever, and like renting ice for a couple hours one time, having like a pickup game or something, and then having like all the other hosts like commentate it,
Oh man,
like announce it, and then
that'd be great.
Yeah, because I've been doing the announcing for the Chell stuff that Tom Franklin's been doing. I don't know if you've been checking that out.
Yeah, I checked out the last one.
Yeah,
actually,
me too.
On Thursday.
What's the middle ground? Like Chicago? We should aim for Chicago.
Sure,
it's pretty central.
I'm in.
That's probably the most central.
Let's
area,
do Nashville
right?
and just have a party too.
I could fuck with Nashville.
I could too.
Right. Yeah, and I mean whatever. That's a big thing, Once this network starts making like some serious bones, I think that we should they should do that. So,
I am down.
Yep.
So hard.
100%.
Fly us all out. We'll play a tourney or something.
Oh, so good.
Oh, dude, we'll put Barstool to shame.
Yeah,
go.
Exactly. The Broadway boys, James, I think his name is. He played some pretty competitive hockey, junior A, I'm pretty sure, and from what I've talked to them and whatnot, because Andy does the other. He's the play-by-play Chell guy, and I'm the color guy, but he obviously, but he
naturally,
right, he said like James played with like Pacioretty and played with some serious guys. So
Wow.
Yeah, maybe check them out.
So I probably should worry. Okay, good.
Yeah,
Yeah, we got one goalie because
my 5-hole is going to get exposed probably.
Some of the dudes on the network are probably going to embarrass the rest of us.
Yeah, probably. But that's the joys of something like this, man.
Right.
We've said this a million times, but the Hockey Podcast Network has been a blast.
Oh, hell yeah.
No doubt. I would have never met half the people.
No, for sure. And like you said, man, I don't know. I don't think we've talked to a bad host.
Right.
Like
no doubt.
It's Isha and Dylan crushed the search for hosts for sure.
Absolutely. And like everybody's like on it. Like everybody it's really supportive. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Like everybody is like, oh, that shit's cool. Like, how can I help? You know? And not only that, we're all knowledgeable hockey fans and not just like, I feel like I'm the only one closest to being like a total fucking shit bum, you know, just right. And so that's great though. Like surrounding yourself with people who are better and whatnot. So
for sure.
That's a good feeling to have.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Well, anyway, boys, stay safe, stay, busy if you're working from home. And
I'm not.
That's because you're not working.
That's why he's commentating on virtual hockey. He's got to keep himself busy.
I'm working from home though. I'll stay safe. Thank you guys.
Making that content, bro. Making that content. I got a ring light now.
Yeah,
foreign ring light.
You're so pretty.
Yeah.
All right, guys, have a good one.
You too. Thanks.
You too. Thanks.
Thanks again to the boys from the Caps Chirp podcast, the Washington Capitals affiliate of the Hockey Podcast Network. As you noticed, they're very entertaining. They're very opinionated, and don't you doubt them for a second on whether or not Ovechkin is an all-star, superstar, greatest player of his generation, because they will tell you about it.
They'll tell you.
That was amazing. That was fun.
Yeah, that was good.
Again, if you're still sticking around, thanks for tuning into the podcast this week. We will be back next Monday, as per usual. Check us out on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, all that good jazz. And we will catch you next week.
Adios.
The biggest thing you can do to support us is by going to iTunes or Apple Podcasts and giving us a 5-star rating. Also, if you're looking to donate to the network, visit the Hockey Podcast Network's Patreon page. All donations go straight to the podcast host. Thanks, and see you next episode.
You're listening to the Hockey Podcast Network on Twitter @HockeyPodNet. New episodes every Monday and Thursday. Download at thehockeypodcastnetwork.com or wherever you get your podcasts from.